a live edition of It's Just Me, hosted by Brent Foxx. Of course, starting off the new year with a new approach. Well, maybe not so new approach. Um, I just wanted to get on here, try this live out, and basically see what happens. Now, of course, as mentioned in the description, I'm actually going to talk first about my Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this particular matchup was, I guess it was meant to be by the NFL. So it would be all too easy to go ahead and do what you needed to do against the Cleveland Browns, win the game, seal the division, and then be able to rest some of our starters for the playoffs. And I think it comes at a great time if we did what we were supposed to do. Of course, we didn't. This is this 2025-2026 Pittsburgh Steelers has been very bipolar, and that is actually being very courteous about what they really are. Um, one week they they put on a masterful performance. Hey Cam, thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate that. I have listened to your content as well, and it's very enlightening. So I definitely appreciate you taking time out of your day to come in here and grace me with your presence. Thank you so much. All right. But as I was mentioning before, I as I was mentioning before, it would be all too simple for the Steelers to do what they're supposed to do, win this game, and be able to move on. But this team, which is bipolar, and I'm hoping I'm using the correct term, Cam. they they'll they'll be great one week. They'll play complementary football, which means that if the defense takes the ball away from the other team, the offense actually scores touchdowns. So, that's how it should be. But there are times where the offense, like last week, was completely inept, to be honest. We have a solid field goal kicker in Chris Boswell that actually missed a field goal, which is perplexing. And then, yeah. Oh, okay, okay. All right. Thank you. But there that he missed a field goal, that was already a bad sign. And then the offense, for whatever reason, just couldn't get the passing game going. And then once you're unable to do that, then it's not going to help the running game, which actually did pretty well last week, but there just wasn't enough of it because we were behind. So there's that scenario or situation. And it was a very close game. The defense actually did what it was supposed to. I mean, granted, the opening drive for the Browns ended up in a touchdown, unfortunately, because of a lapse in coverage. And usually, what that is when there's a lapse in coverage, as far as just covering eligible receivers, there's a lack of communication. Um, if that happens, bad things happen. And I think that touchdown to Fannin was proof of that. So, yeah. Oh, well, Cam, I'm actually from Dallas, born and raised in Dallas. I love my city. I just cannot stand this football team. So I went completely the opposite of the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm a proud Dallasite. I am born and bred here, and I really smile big when I'm actually talking about my city. I do love my city. I just can't stand them. Ooh, I cannot do it. Well, thank you for being gracious again. But yeah, I can't do them Cowboys. Anybody else? in Dallas, like the Mavericks or the Stars, even the Rangers or somebody like that, I can get behind and support. And then ironically, like the semi-pro football team, not semi-pro, they are professionals. They just not in the NFL. Like they used to have like Dallas Desperados, and I think it was like the indoor league, and then they had like the UFL league. They have the Arlington Renegades. I mean, I support those guys, but mm-mm, it's just something about them Cowboys. I just cannot get behind. No, I know what it is. It's Jerry Jones. I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. He has too much of an ego. Anyway, oh yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. I definitely get it. So you feel me. You feel me, Cam. You feel me. All right. Well, let me go ahead and not deviate too far. That's an all-day subject. But I'll just go ahead and get back to my Steelers. So if we're playing complementary football like we should, then things go great. If we don't and have breakdowns in communication and breakdowns of understanding what our roles or assignments are, then bad things happen like they did in Cleveland last week. And there were several opportunities for us to win that game. We just didn't take advantage of them. The defense actually got the ball back for us twice, and we just could not do anything with it. We had two interceptions, and I think there was a fumble recovery, so it might have been three times, but we didn't do anything with it. So I take that back. We got 3 points. Um, but we but we have to do much better than that if we're actually going to play a very, very desperate Baltimore Ravens team. So um, I think there was breaking news that Lamar Jackson is coming back. Like, that's not really breaking news. This is a playoff type game. And if there's a chance that Lamar can even move, he's going to play. I expected him to play. I don't know why that would be breaking news from ESPN. But, it is what it is. Hey, Happy New Year, Jared. Thank you so much for coming by, man. I know that y'all was probably busy doing HBCU fanatics. You usually shoot that around this time, man. So, I thought y'all was doing that. But I'm glad you came in here, man. We can talk about that. I was talking about this matchup between us and y'all. Now, as I have mentioned, I think that y'all still, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's that, but like Lamar's gonna give you your best chance to win. I mean, yeah, Snoop played good last week, but honestly, Derrick Henry quite literally carried the team, and I think that he's gonna wind up doing that this game too. And I think that we have to have a very strong emphasis on gang tackling. Like, yes, Derek has actually fumbled an unusual amount this year, unusually high amount this year. He almost never fumbles, but he's had at least what, four, yeah, three or four fumbles. Hey, Grown with Soul, salute, brother. But I don't think that we need to emphasize on trying to strip the ball away from Derrick Henry. I think we need to concentrate on making sure that we control the gaps. And I'll reemphasize this again. In the words of great Joe Townsend, who quotes Dr. Umar, I'm going to hit you with it 3 times. We got to make sure that we control our gaps. That's the second time. And control our gaps, which is the third time. So, yeah, we just have to make sure that we are able to control those gaps. We definitely need to make sure that the edge guys make contact with the quarterback, just in case he gets the idea to pull the ball and then run outside. So we definitely need to make sure that we gang tackle Derrick Henry. and that we get him on the ground. We don't need to be worried about stripping the ball from him or anything like that. I think it's very, very important to make sure that you establish early that you are going to get him on the ground at all costs. If we're able to do that consistently, consistently being the key phrase or key word here, then we stand a good chance of winning. But I don't think that that would be all that we have to do. Now, of course, Mark Andrews has been somewhat of a nuisance for us as of late. So, I mean, I would probably look for him to have a big game too. But I would rather I'll take my chances with Mark Andrews because that means that Lamar has to actually throw the ball to him. I would much rather that than have to deal with whether or not or hold my breath every time Derrick Henry takes a handoff or a pitch. If we're able to actually stop him before he starts, then and we have to do it consistently. Not just the first and second quarter, and then on the third quarter we get gashed for about 10, 15 yards a pop, and then he just suddenly takes over the game, man. Um, yeah, I hear you, Jared, man, but I think it's really, really important, yeah, that we make sure that we contain Lamar too. We don't want him extending plays, like you were mentioning. If we have him extending plays, that's bad news too. But the sword or the hill that I would actually die on is just making sure that we stop Derrick Henry. If we're able to stop Derrick Henry, and as crazy as this sounds right now, I'll take my chances with Lamar and excuse me, and the passing game. So yeah, I would much rather take chances on that. We cannot, and I repeat, cannot allow Derrick Henry to literally gain momentum. It is going to be like that playoff game last year. It's not going to matter who the home team is. If they're able to just run the ball, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really, really bad. So, and he did that. They did that as a visiting team last week. So, yeah, I would really hope that we've worked on tackling drills most importantly, and that we've worked on our gap assignments equally as important, if not more important. If we get the right guys in the right gap and they stay in that particular gap and they're focused on their assignment, and then one makes contact and the others come to help, we'll be okay. I think that we'll be okay. But knowing this team, which is an up and down team, I do think that they are bipolar. I don't know what to expect from them, and they've shown me all season that I cannot trust them. So once again, I do have the Baltimore Ravens taking this away from us. Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens are probably going to take this one away from us and win the AFC North. As much as I hate to admit it, I do hope that I'm wrong. Like a big part of me hopes that I'm wrong, but just looking at this season and how up and down and inconsistent we've been, I don't think we get this one. Um, Another thing to kind of think about is, of course, we don't have DK Metcalf, who accounted for nearly 150 yards in the air. Um, and then Marquez Valdez-Scantling is not going to get it done, obviously. We do get Calvin Austin back, which is good. That's probably one of our better route runners. Um, Honestly, man, I would love to see Roman Wilson out there. He's a third round draft pick that we had maybe 2 years ago, and he actually does have 2 touchdowns on the season. Of course, one of them is controversial, but it's still counted as a touchdown. Um, and he has been able to actually make really good and solid plays in the preseason, the regular season. Hey, Happy New Year, Tay Tay, and thank you so much for coming by. But yeah, I think that excuse me. I think that if he's given more opportunities, I think that he can take advantage of those opportunities. So I would really hope that we feature Roman Wilson and add a little shock value. I don't expect him to do a whole lot and take the game over or anything like that. But like if he puts up solid numbers, like maybe 3 receptions for 50 yards or something of that, somewhere in that ballpark, I think that he could really help the team out. To be honest. And then, we're underutilizing Pat Fryermuth. Now, Arthur Smith, our offensive coordinator, loves tight ends. Now is the time to actually feature him because our main receiving weapon is gone. Like, we're definitely going to need somebody to step up. And I think that our next best receiving threat is our tight end. So let's get him the ball. Let's get him the ball. And I think that Calvin Austin can actually threaten the defense deep. And the Ravens' pass defense, I think it might have been 29th, if I'm not mistaken. So we definitely need to make sure that we're able to take advantage of some matchups. And I will be safe, Tay Tay. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for stopping by. I appreciate you. Um, but yeah, if we're able to actually take advantage of some matchups that we've got, then we definitely should be able to get down the field consistently. But yeah, it is, man. And for Arthur Smith to be a guy that quote unquote loves tight ends, he hasn't really. And it could maybe be Aaron's execution now that I think about it, but at the same time, I know that you can create plays to scheme your tight end open. So I mean, we got to come on with it with that. Like it, honestly, we got to come on with it with that. If we're able to actually utilize the tight ends like we should, that would probably help open up our running game. Now, the last time that we actually played the Ravens, they did a phenomenal job of making sure that we were unable or ineffectively running the ball. So that definitely has to change. In order for us to actually have some sort of control on this game, we're going to have to be able to run the ball. We're not going to be able to. I know that we're not going to be able to like have a game breaking type game like we're averaging over 5 yards a carry and we're running for over 150 yards. That's not going to be the case against Baltimore, but if we're able to at least utilize a passing game, we could possibly get close to 100 and try to get the average up, hopefully close to 4. And the reason I'm saying hopefully close to 4 is because a big part of us being bipolar is we sometimes don't run the ball very well at all. And then we have weeks like Miami, and then we have weeks like Detroit where we're running the ball great. Um, so yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but I don't expect I don't expect us to be doing a whole lot as far as being able to run the ball against Baltimore. We honestly, since we've had I think since Le'Veon Bell, there hasn't been anybody that has been consistent as far as putting up good yardage against Baltimore's defense, regardless of what the statistics say. Um, we just haven't had anybody consistently. Yeah, even Najee. Najee has had maybe he's been there he was with us 4 years. He may have had maybe two, and if I'm being gracious, maybe three 100-yard games maximum. But he's been held in check by Baltimore for the most part as well, and he's not even here. So, but I'm just giving an example of a back that has a high percentage of touches against the Baltimore Ravens defense that is known for being able to effectively stop the run. So, yeah, there's that. Um, I do again like our matchup against the secondary is just, are we going to be able to properly scheme these guys open? Um, well, hello, Jennifer. I think that's your name. Thank you so much for stopping by. Definitely appreciate it. Um, but yeah, I think that if we're able to scheme guys open, then we should be able to, excuse me, we should be able to be successful. I just don't trust this team, man. I just don't. And that matchup, oh, okay. Um, all right. If if this is your mom's account, we may be having an adult conversations of in a few moments. So I don't know how safe that is for you, but I definitely appreciate you coming by. Um, Thank you. And if you don't mind, just go ahead and hit the like button as well. Now, I think that again, yeah, I just want us to until I see it, I'm not gonna be able to believe it, you know? Um, I'm not gonna be able to believe it. I need for us to be able to consistently tackle Derrick Henry. Like we have to make sure that we tackle him as a group. Not none of this, oh, mono e mono type crap and somebody strip the ball while I hold him up. None of that. I need at least 2 to 3 guys to hit him and try to get him on the ground as quickly as possible. It does not, we're not trying to press so hard to make splash plays. I think that if we're able to hello again. Um if we're able to actually just do what we need to do and stop this man before he gets started, and I can't reemphasize that enough, then we do have a good chance of winning this game. If not, we're going to flat out lose. We're going to flat out lose. And again, the moral of this story is we need to stop Derrick Henry at all costs, and I will take my chances with Lamar Jackson. That's it. That's all. Now, on to another subject. Fights that I would like to see in 2026. Now, I'm about to talk boxing. If if that's not your cup of tea, then that's understandable. Um, but if you'd like to learn more, then please, stay in. Now, we already have a pretty good matchup with Teofimo Lopez, whom is boxing's bigot, and I will continue to say that. No, I'm sorry, boxing's bigot is Larry Merchant. The racist face of boxing is Teofimo Lopez. So the racist face of boxing, Teofimo Lopez, will be fighting Shakur Stevenson, I think the 31st of this month. So that's a pretty big matchup to look forward to. Now, I'm sure that there are going to be some other fights, and I should have probably checked the schedule before getting on live. But we're just gonna wing it. Um, the card actually features the returning Keyshawn Davis, and he's going to be fighting a gentleman by the name of Jermaine Ortiz, who is a very talented and skillful boxing veteran. And I think they're going to fight at 140, if I'm not mistaken. Now, with this particular matchup with Keyshawn versus Jermaine Ortiz, that's probably going to be the most interesting to me. Um, Reason being is because, of course, I need to see where Keyshawn's mind is, or mindset is. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I need to see where his mindset is. Of course, if you're familiar with Keyshawn Davis, there was a fiasco that actually happened on a boxing card that was supposed to feature him versus Edwin De Los Santos. And when his brother actually wound up, I'm sorry, let me start from the very beginning. He missed weight, blatantly missed weight, and he thought that De Los Santos was still going to fight him. That was not the case. So his fight, which was the main event, was canceled. Um, Hello again, Jennifer. Or Jennifer's son or daughter. Um, but him actually, first and foremost, not being professional and responsible, and oh, son. Okay, all right. Salute, man. All right. Um, so him not being professional or responsible enough to do what he needed to do to try to keep this fight card up. And by the way, he had celebrities, world recognized celebrities like Michael Vick and Allen Iverson showing up to this particular fight to support him. And he turns around and does this. Bud Crawford even showed up to that fight. And you know, this boy did not do what he was supposed to do. Um, and the reason that I have to call him that is because men are supposed to be responsible and reliable. He did not show that at all. He showed that he was unprofessional. He showed that he was childish, and he showed that he couldn't be counted upon when other folks actually needed him to literally show up and do his job. He did not show up and do his job. He showed up, but he didn't do his job. He just blatantly missed weight. And that's not, that is a big no-no in boxing. You are supposed to make sure that you make your weight. Not miss your weight and then you let the other fights go on and you're in the stands eating popcorn. You had a guy that was on your undercard in Abdullah Mason actually take over as the main event because you were so irresponsible and selfish that you let somebody else take your spot. And true enough, Top Rank did actually shelf you for that, as they should, because you not only embarrassed yourself, you actually embarrassed them. So, the company's not going to have that. And you let so many people down by doing that. And it seems as though you don't really have any remorse for what you did. You just feel like you're just going to be able to come back. And that's going to be that. Like, oh, and he's challenging Richardson Hitchens to fight him in Virginia. Who's going to come to that? Nobody trusts you, man. Nobody trusts you. Now, I'm still a Keyshawn Davis supporter. I appreciate that. Thank you for liking it. I'm still a Keyshawn Davis supporter, but that does not excuse or absolve what he actually did or didn't do in this case. You know, it doesn't feel as though he's holding himself accountable for what he did. And to be quite honest with you, it doesn't look like anybody in his circle is either. Now, I'm sure that Bud did actually talk to him about that, and I'm sure Bud, being the person that he actually is, probably got on his ass about it. To be quite honest, Bud doesn't strike me as somebody that's just gonna be like, "Oh man, it's okay, man." No, I think Bud got on his ass, but um, that I think that conversation would probably stay between them, but. Yeah, ain't no way that you have all these people come out and then you mess up and people have to get their money or are trying to get their money back and they can't. And then, they feel like they can't trust you. So I don't know what this situation or what this delusion is about you fighting Richardson Hitchens in Virginia when you've shown that when it comes down to you fighting in Virginia, you're not going to do what you're supposed to do. So no. Why would anybody sign up for that? Why would anybody pay for that? It's just beyond me. But in the same breath, okay, I certainly hope that Keyshawn actually gets his stuff together and is able to Hey, how you doing? Um, and I definitely hope that Keyshawn is able to get himself together, and he's able to put on a good performance against Jermaine O'Neal, who is actually a very talented and savvy veteran. He had a fight with Teofimo Lopez, who ironically is on the main card, and he arguably may have beaten Teofimo Lopez. Now, in my humble opinion, I think that um so I don't necessarily know what all of this means, but but I certainly hope that it's complimentary or respectful, because if not, I don't really tolerate disrespect or anything like that. So I don't know what this is, um, or what these pictures are supposed to represent. But I certainly hope that it's not. I certainly hope that it's not anything disrespectful. So I'll be fair to you and try to give the benefit of the doubt at first. But if this is somewhat disrespectful, or even if it's somewhat racist, I'm gonna get you up out of here. I don't play no games like that. Um, and hello, I certainly hope that these are friendly. Oh, okay, okay, all right. Well, thumbs up on that. I definitely appreciate it. Okay, my fault. Learn something new every day. So okay, that's what that means. All right, I'll go with it. Until until something different shows up, or I find something else out. But all right, I'll go with this. Thank you. I appreciate you. Um. So anyway, I certainly hope again that Keyshawn gets it together. Now, as far as this main event, um, Teofimo Lopez, who again is a racist face of boxing, versus Shakur Stevenson. I think that Shakur Stevenson's defensive ability and also um, very, very, very accurate punching, it is really going to take over this fight. I think that if I think that if Shakur is able to, excuse me, if he's able to properly, um, how do okay, if he's able to properly visualize what Team Tiafimo is trying to do, it's over. It is going to be over. And what I mean by that is like complete shutout. Now I don't think that he's gonna knock out Tiafimo or nothing like that. But I do think that it will probably be a very one-sided fight once Shakur figures out what Tiafimo is trying to do. And then I think that it is technically over. Like there won't be much or anything Tio would be able to do to try to get the upper hand or surprise Shakur or anything else like that. And to be honest with you, fighting southpaws can be a task if they are very skilled southpaws. And what I mean by that is when you're an orthodox fighter, you're taught to actually line people up with your jab. Well, if you're a southpaw fighter, it's difficult for an orthodox fighter with a very skilled and talented southpaw to line them up for a jab because their stance is the opposite way. So you first and foremost have to make sure that you take your lead foot, which is the foot that you put in front, which is usually going to be attached to your jab hand. You have to have that foot outside their foot. And for very skilled and actually talented southpaws, that's difficult. It is very difficult. You have to you have to step outside, make sure that your foot is out. Then you have to turn at an angle to where you think you probably be able to catch them with the jab. And if they have very good head movement on top of that, it is extremely difficult. It is, whew, it is like put, to be honest with you, I think it's like putting, it's like putting bacon grease on a golf ball and then having it shoot out at you and you're supposed to try and catch it. It is that difficult. It is that difficult with somebody that's actually skilled and talented. Skill is something that you actually build in the gym day by day by day by day. Talent is something that you are given by God with. Talent is like speed, agility, strength, to a certain extent. Like if you're abnormally strong, that's a talent. Um, but yeah, I just don't. If Shakur is actually, if Shakur is actually focused and doing what he's supposed to do, I don't think I honestly do not think that T.O. has a snowball's chance and you know where to actually beat him. Now, having said that, the racist face of boxing is a good fighter. I will give him that, but I won't give him much else. So I probably would see it 8-4 Shakur. I think that respectfully, this man was a two division champion for a reason, but Lopez, who again is the racist face of boxing, um, he he does have phenomenal talent. He does have great, well, he has good skills. He has good skills. And again, skills are something that you actually build in the gym. He has phenomenal talent, good skills, but I just don't think if the Shakur Stevenson that I'm thinking about is in there, the one that actually beat Jose Cepeda last summer, he beat him in July, I believe. If that's the same Shakur Stevenson, then yeah, he's going to beat Teofimo Lopez. It is what it is. And I'm looking forward to that matchup, and more importantly, I'm looking forward to Shakur actually embarrassing the out of the racist face of boxing, Teofimo Lopez. Now, the only regret I have about this particular card is that the racist face of boxing, Teofimo Lopez, is actually featured on this card, and he's being rewarded for, racist behavior. I really, I really can't get behind that, and I'm sure that there was and shout out to Coach Hudson, man. He had a very powerful show today, and I'll probably delve into that after I talk about this. But he had a very powerful show today, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But he also had another show in which they were talking about Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. Now, as usual, there's always someone that wants to be objective, and okay, I get it. In most aspects, especially when it comes to competitive sports, you do have to be objective. Okay, I get that. Um, but when it comes to someone disrespecting someone else's race or religion or even their culture, that's unacceptable. I don't care. I don't care how much you try to emphasize that, oh, I'm just doing that to hype the fight up and all of that. No, there are other things that you could actually do to hype the fight up, besides tearing down someone's race, someone's religion, someone's culture. That's unacceptable. Teofimo Lopez, that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Me as a black American, I'm not going to accept somebody, and this includes Ryan Garcia while I'm at it. I'm not going to accept somebody that doesn't value me as a human being and then expects me to put money in their pocket by supporting their fights. No, You obviously don't need my money. So, take your business elsewhere. Um, which goes to, which Drew, what's up, man? Hey, thank you for stopping by, brother Drew. I appreciate that, man. I was just getting through talking about your boy, bro. So yes, you know, if you don't value me as a human being, you don't need my money. So take your business, like I said, take your business elsewhere. And I politely will not with you. Just don't with me asking me for money to support your fights when you don't think of me as a human being. When you're running around here calling me monkeys and then running around here telling me that, oh, I wish I could dig up one of your people and kill him again, and then using the hard ER as some type of punchline and all of that. Nah, I'm not accepting that. And neither should anyone else who has pride in being who they are. All right. I'm not ever anybody how to feel. And on that same token, I don't expect anybody to dictate to me how I should feel about a certain subject. Meaning, oh, well, you shouldn't take it that way, or you might be overreacting, or why are you taking it so personally? I'm a proud black American, and I'm never ever ever going to apologize for that. And I should never actually have to shrink or reduce myself to make somebody else feel comfortable. If you feel uncomfortable because I love who I am, that's your problem. That's not my problem. That's your problem. That's your problem. I love who I am. And I'm never going to apologize for loving who I am. And I'm never going to apologize for loving my people. Ever. You know, Unfortunately, there are things that you have to stand on that you know that there are probably going to be consequences to. This is one of them for me. And I love my people to a fault. And just because I love myself, and I can't reiterate this enough, just because I love myself does not mean that I hate other people. Let me rephrase this one more time. Just because I love myself does not mean that I hate others. I just love myself. And I shouldn't have to apologize about that, nor should I even have to explain that to anyone. If you are disturbed or if you are uncomfortable with the fact that I actually love myself, then once again, that is a problem with you. That is not a problem with me. All right. Can I say hi to Allison and Ernesto? Okay. Well, hello, Allison and Ernesto. How y'all doing? Y'all please make sure y'all hit the like button as well. Please and thank you. But yeah, um, I think loving yourself is actually important regardless of your race, religion, or culture. That's my main point. And anybody who doesn't value that, or anybody that doesn't respect that, you shouldn't have to deal with. You shouldn't have to do business with. And that even means people in your communities or neighborhoods that actually sell you things like um, hair shops, or even gas stations, or excuse me, or even, convenience stores or anything else like that. If these people don't respect you as human beings, don't give them your money. Don't give them your money. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. But all right, y'all. Let me get on some matchups I'd like to see in 2026 before I get out of here. So there's that particular matchup that is actually happening. Um, Now, as much as I would love to see this matchup in 2026, I know that it's not a reality. But if Anthony Joshua was able to recover from the horrific accident that actually happened a few days ago. And God bless the families and loved ones of the people that actually passed in that terrible accident. And then, oh, of course, God bless Anthony Joshua too. Um, I may not agree with what he does as far as a businessman in boxing, but that doesn't mean I devalue the man's life. So, God bless him and his family. And I certainly hope that he actually not has a speedy recovery, but a complete, or no one completely recovers, but he has as much or as close to as a complete recovery as possible. So, thoughts and prayers for the families that were affected, and then Anthony Joshua as well. So there's that. Now, um, as much as I would love to see him fight Deontay Wilder, and that's not a reality, unfortunately. You know, that would have been nice. They should have fought in 2017, where all the belts were on the line. But my catchphrase to that is "Ask Eddie," and Eddie is Eddie Hearn. That's Anthony Joshua's lifetime promoter. Lord have mercy. Um, that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day. But speaking of Deontay Wilder versus Derek Chisora. Now that would be an excellent fight. I would love to see that particular fight. You have a mauler and a brawler with Derek Chisora, and then you have someone who has actually been boxing's most destructive puncher. As far as like he literally is a one hit wonder, and I mean that in the most positive way possible. Because one hit will make you wonder why you're on the canvas. So I would love to see Deontay Wilder fight Derek Chisora. Now that's a realistic fight that could actually happen. So I would love to see that. Um, of course, there's an up and comer or two up and comers that I'd like to mention. The first one is actually Darrell Valsant or Valsaint. Um, he is a Haitian hailing out of Orlando, Florida. He fights at 154 pounds. This gentleman is going to be a prominent figure in the 154-pound division. This gentleman, he to me, he has it all. He is able to. He has speed. He has decent power. Most importantly, he has punch accuracy and phenomenal timing. This guy, and he switch hits from time to time. Um, but he is a phenomenal fighter. I cannot say enough good things about Darrell Valsaint or Valsant. I think that and check out Pro Box to look at his work. Um, he is a phenomenal fighter. Um, and as a matter of fact, I should have done a story on him a long time ago. And shout out to the Punch Junkie, the first black owned boxing publication. And it's time to stop BSing and just get these things done. So look out for an article. I'm putting it out there. Look out for an article this month on Darrell Valsant or Valsaint. Excuse me. I'm sorry. He's a phenomenal fighter at 154 pounds, and people need to know about this kid. Like he is a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He is well on his way to becoming great. Um, Also, Najee Lopez. I think he's an Atlanta, Georgia native, Puerto Rican, and then he is a cruiserweight, I believe. This guy also very exciting to watch. He has devastating his combination of strength and speed is devastating to his opponents. Like I have never seen. No, I'm not gonna take. I'm not gonna say never. I have not seen in quite a while a guy that completely changed the momentum of a fight with a single combination. Um, there have been countless times where his opponents may have looked at one point to be in the fight, but Najee throws such vicious combinations that he talks him out of it with his fist. Like he makes him reconsider with his hands. Like this gentleman has people thinking about their life once they actually get hit. And you can see it in their eyes. Like if you follow boxing long enough, there are certain guys that when they make contact with somebody, it changes them. Najee Lopez is one of them people. So y'all please look out for Najee Lopez. He is well on his way to becoming something. So I would love to see him fight anybody, and same goes for the real Velsant. I'd love him to see him fight anybody. I look forward to I look forward to seeing Abdullah Mason actually fight. Um, and that could actually be anybody as well. Um, so I would look forward to seeing that. Hopefully it'll be a belt holder at 135 to where he can kind of where he'd be able to at least unify the belts, if not get undisputed. I would love to see that. Um, but yeah, there are several guys that are up and coming that I would love to see fight. And as much as as much as I kind of disagree with his personality type, I would love to see Richardson Hitchens actually fight for another belt. Um, and see what becomes of that. I'd like to see him actually just try and get another belt and be a unified champion. So I would love to be able to see something like that too. Of course, um, I would love to actually see Devin Haney unify, if not get undisputed at 147 pounds. So I would definitely love to see that. Unfortunately, I think that that's probably going to wind up going through Ryan Garcia if he does what he's supposed to do. I'm hearing that they actually have. I'm hearing that the that our friends at the WBC has actually raised the level of has actually raised the level of oh my goodness. I lost track of the drug that Ryan the PED that Ryan actually took to beat Devin, but they actually raised the level. They pulled the Canelo, so they actually raised the level of whatever drug was in his system to actually help his performance. I mean, they can't. I mean, Suleiman and them can't even make this. They can't even hide it anymore. Like they're gonna help these guys at all costs. So WBC, I guess, stands for We Back Cheaters. I just can't. Yeah, I just can't get my head around that one. Um, Lord have mercy. And the drug is Ostarine. I'm sorry, it just now popped in my head. So they raised the Ostarine levels. And I think that was because what you call it also got caught taking Ostarine. Oh man, Super L Matias, I think. Um, he he got caught. Doing Ostarine as well. So, and what Ostarine does, and I've been advised of this several times. What Ostarine does is, yes, it actually helps you lean out, but it also helps retain muscle. Okay, why is that important? Because if you are able to retain muscle, then you can retain your strength. Okay, first and foremost, that's the most important thing. But being able to have muscle elasticity also helps your also helps your speed and agility, and also more importantly, your reflexes as a result. So whenever someone is like, oh well, it wasn't even that much, and he couldn't avoid that left hook. If someone is already doing something at a very high level and they take drugs and they go to a higher level, it probably doesn't even matter what they actually do. They're performing better, and they shouldn't have taken whatever they took at the time to actually get the win. Now, most people want to use that as a reference, but I also use James Toney versus John Ruiz as a reference as well. I'm a James Toney fan. I like Lights Out Tony, but and I was actually celebrating when he beat John Ruiz. I do not like John Ruiz as a fighter. Now I don't know him as a person. He could actually be a great person, humanitarian, all of the above. I just did not like John Ruiz, and it was because of his fighting style. It was irky jerky. It was awkward. There was nothing to me. There wasn't anything. There wasn't anything as far as like even fundamentally sound, to be honest with you, about his style. And I just hated his style. That's what it was. I hated his style. And because there was a lot of jab and grab, a lot of awkward wrestling, and then he would get shots in. Um, once he slipped clinches and stuff like that. It was just a gross looking style, and I hated it. Um, but he did manage to beat Evander Holyfield with that particular style. So, go figure. But anyway, the point is James Tony popped for some PEDs, and everybody was on him about that. Like, oh, this is why you won and all of that. But nobody said, oh, well, Ruiz couldn't even avoid that overhand right. No, nobody said that. They was like, oh no, James Tony shouldn't have took those PEDs and all of that. I didn't hear anything like, oh, you couldn't avoid that overhand right. It was right there, and at one point you were looking at it and you still got hit. No, nobody said anything like that. So, once again, um, there should not be a double standard, but of course, we all know that there is. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Now I see that I'm getting close to an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I have work very early in the morning. But I definitely enjoyed starting my year off, my starting off 2026, talking to you all live. Thank you all so much for being so supportive with the live and also my content. And hopefully I will be able to do more of this throughout 2026. Thank you for tuning in to It's Just Me, hosted by Brent Foxx. And please check out my brother's Jared O11 Green. Sundays, he has a Southern Baller show that usually comes on 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. My brother, Coach 67 Sports TV, who is the best content creator, Southern University content creator on the face of the planet, has all sorts of content on all platforms every day, almost nearly every day, excuse me. So please check out his content. And then, you know, it's a new year. You want to bring it in right? Get Old Hillside Bourbon from none other than the LDVC's own Big Joe Townsend. Or excuse me, Big Joe Townsend, the Bay Area legend. You got to say the whole thing like a pimp named Slickback. So y'all please support that. Go to oldhillsidebourbon.com, I believe, to look on the website. They ship it out to you, and you should be receiving it almost like an Amazon order. So, you know, look out for, it's a black owned distillery. Please support. All right, y'all. Again, thank y'all so much for tuning in to It's Just Me, hosted by Brent Foxx. And until next time, y'all.